This is getting recorded for folks that were not able to join us today. We actually did get a couple emails from folks today that said they couldn't join, but they wanted to see the presentation. So we will make sure to share a recording with folks as well as the actual slide afterwards. Okay, all right. First of all, if folks wouldn't mind keeping themselves muted as you're already doing, that'd be fantastic. And saving your questions and writing them down until the end so that we can, as I said, we have plenty of time for questions and answers. And when we get to the question and answer portion of the presentation, if you have a question, there is a raise hand function in your Zoom screen. If you're calling over the phone, you can dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. So to raise it and then to lower it, *9. You can find the raise hand function button on the bottom of your Zoom window by clicking on the reactions button. There is also a chat section, so you can enter comments or questions in the chat. To access the chat, click the participants button at the bottom of your Zoom window, and the chat window should open up on the side of your Zoom window, and you can enter your comments there. If you are having technical difficulties, you can text me on my cell phone, and my cell phone number is 802-522-8611. 802-522-8611. You can text me and I will do my best to respond while talking to folks. So here's our agenda for today. We're gonna, like I said, give a little introduction to who we are, talk about our homeowner selection process, what our criteria is for selecting our homeowners, how we select our partner homeowners. I'm going to talk about how homeownership is actually a partnership with us. And then we'll get into our next partnership opportunity, talk a little bit about what perpetual affordability means. How do we keep our properties affordable forever? And then talk a little bit about how you can prepare to apply, and then of course answer any questions you have. We scheduled two hours for the meeting, but more than likely this will be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on the length of your questions. Like I said, the presentation is about 30 minutes. So Central Vermont Habitat for Humanity is an affordable nonprofit housing organization. We are based in Montpelier, but we build houses in Orange and Washington counties. Our service area is the Orange County towns of Braintree, Bethel, Brookfield, Granville, Orange, Randolph, Washington, and Williamstown. In Washington County, we cover all the towns excluding the towns of Cabot and Woodbury. We have been active in Vermont since 1989. There are currently 7 other affiliates in Vermont. If for some reason you do not live in or work in any of the towns that I just listed, but you're joining us today, let's be in touch after this and we will connect you with the right service area where there will hopefully be homeownership opportunities going on there as well. So we're an affiliate of Habitat for Humanity International, which is a Christian ecumenical nonprofit organization. As a Christian organization, affordable housing is our ministry. We work across all faiths and do not discriminate based on religion in any way. It is our mission to serve everyone, but we are also legally not allowed to discriminate based on religion or creed. And we expressly prohibit proselytizing, so nobody's going to try to convert you. But to be clear, our mission is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, community, and hope. Our vision is where everyone has a decent place to live, and our work is based on these principles. We demonstrate the love of Jesus Christ. We focus on shelter. We advocate for affordable housing, promote dignity and hope, support sustainable and transformative development. And basically, we build affordable housing. We keep the cost of building our houses affordable by working with volunteers and requiring that our partner homeowner commit to something that we call sweat equity, which I will talk about in a little bit. We are also non-traditional mortgage loan originators and servicers. This means that we create the mortgage loans and the amount of the mortgage loan, and then also manage them in some cases. As non-traditional lenders, we are able to set our own terms and qualifications, which enable us to offer mortgages to people who would otherwise not qualify for a traditional bank, but also to make sure that we are making your mortgage payment affordable based on our partner homeowners. And we also do some very limited, what we call critical home repairs. So here's what we do. It's pretty straightforward. Our whole process can take about 2 years, and that's from when we start to advertise our homeowner opportunity to when we give the keys to our homeowner to move in. So it starts with we purchase or given a parcel of land or a house. We then go through typically it's about a 6-month long selection process to find our partner homeowner, because it is a partnership. We then build our homes, and we build our homes based on the needs of the homeowners. We use volunteers, sweat equity, donated money, and materials. We then provide an affordable 0% or very low interest mortgage to our partner homeowners, and they move into their home. We then take those mortgage payments that you're making and we reinvest them into our future habitat projects. So we continue to recycle our mortgage payments and our homeownership opportunities into future opportunities. Now here's as I said, the homeowner selection process can take about 6 months, starting from when we advertise to when we select our homeowner. And then the building process can take 1.5 years to 2 years, and that's because we depend on volunteers and donations. The homeowner selection committee is made up of a small number of volunteers and staff. So I'm the staff member, and then folks like Lisa, who's on the call, are volunteers. All committee members receive fair housing and equal credit opportunity lending training to help understand and avoid discrimination. All information that applicants include in their application will be kept confidential in accordance with applicable confidentiality laws in our own policies. And we do everything we can to protect your information. And in fact, most committee members will not even be able to see your name or personally identifiable information until after we make our selection. We will advertise the homeowner selection application period for 30 days. We then have a 30-day period where we're accepting applications. And we can provide you with a physical copy of the application, or we can send you an electronic version. And if folks are having issues with filling out the application, we're happy to assist. You can always call or email us at any time. We can't fill it out for you, but we can certainly help you. After we receive your application, we follow up with you if we require additional information. We didn't get this in the application, so we need you to send this. We work with you to make sure that you're filling everything out in its entirety to get us a complete application. Once we have that complete application, we then verify the income sources with your employer. We verify your current housing situation with your landlord. We then send out a letter within 30 days of receiving your application, letting you know either if we have denied your application or reviewing your application, or if your application is incomplete. Those 3 things, and it's always within 30 days. Once housing and income information has been that you submitted in your application has been verified, a qualified loan originator will run what we call a soft credit check to determine your ability to pay an affordable mortgage. That's a term that I'll get into a little bit later, but a soft credit check will not impact your credit score. It's just really kind of gather some basic information and confirm some of the information in your application. We also do run a criminal background check, and we do a search of the sex offender registry. This is for later on in the application period as we get close to doing a home visit, because we verify the need of housing by actually going and visiting your home. But to be clear, a previous conviction or offense may disqualify an applicant from homeownership, will not necessarily. Basically, during an individualized inquiry, we may consider a number of factors that we have in policy which may or may not disqualify you, and that also pertains to the sex offender registry. But definitely make sure to include this information in your application, because if it is withheld or falsified, and then we discover that these things do exist, that may be a reason to disqualify you from further consideration. And as I said, we then schedule a virtual or in-person visit of your current housing to verify your need of housing, which I'll touch on in a little bit. The homeowner selection committee will then schedule an interview with qualifying applicants before making a final recommendation to our board of directors, who makes the final determination of who we partner with. So here is the criteria. These are the very basic criteria for what we look at when for our partner homeowners. And we strongly encourage folks, even if something here doesn't quite sound right, to still apply and let us, because our process is somewhat nuanced. We don't want you to be afraid to apply if something seems close. Let the committee make that determination for you. So we don't want to discourage anybody from not applying. But basically, we strive to partner with homeowner applicants who have the greatest need for housing. So again, we focus on who has the greatest need. We partner with those in need, as I said, and we do not discriminate based on the size of your household. So we do partner with individuals as well as families, or whatever familial situation you're in. Our qualified applicants are first in need of housing. So what this means is there are examples of the rent is too high or the utilities are too high. The house lacks basic amenities like bathrooms or kitchen. The house that you're currently living in is too small for your needs. You need 3 bedrooms, but it only has 2. You live in a neighborhood that is dangerous, unclean, or unsafe. These are some examples of what we look at when we're looking at you are in need of housing. Our other criteria is your willingness to partner. So all of our partners, homeowners, agree to work 250 hours of sweat equity on their home. That's your agreement. Our part of our agreement is that we will provide enough of that time, that work for you to do. And we actually encourage, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, but we encourage you to invite your friends and family who can actually work towards that sweat equity for you. The requirement for it is that for every adult, they must at least do 100 hours, but you can have your friends and family complete the other hours for you, and that, of course, helps build community. We also require that our homeowners complete an 8-hour-long financial wellness course. It's a homeownership course through our local homeownership center, which in our case is Down Street Housing and Community Development. The third criteria, this is a big one, and it's we will, it's a big picture item, and I will talk a little bit more about this, but it is the ability to afford pay an affordable mortgage. So I'll talk about that on the next slide. We also have a residency requirement. This is that you must live and or work in Washington or Orange County at the time of your application. So if you're not currently in Washington or Orange County, if you're planning to move here, that's okay as well. And as I mentioned, our homeowner selection committee does receive fair housing and equal credit opportunity training. And this basically says that we cannot discriminate based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, age, receipt of public assistance, or good faith exercise of any of these rights under the Consumer Credit Act, Protection Act, and the same restriction on discrimination for the Fair Housing Act applies. It also prohibits certain conduct like harassment, retaliation, or in some cases, what used to be called redlining or steering, trying to get people to go and away from us or towards us type thing. So we follow these federal guidelines and laws. And so we do not discriminate. Just want to be clear with folks. All right, so basically our applicants receive a score. We use a grading chart to give all of our applicants a score. As I said before, we don't see any of your personally identifiable information, so the score is really important. All applicants will be, this is done to review to eliminate any possibility of implicit bias that might lead to discrimination. The applicants who have the highest score will be those who have the greatest needs. So I said we do partner with those that have the greatest need. The homeowner selection committee will recommend the applicant to our board of directors. So we make a recommendation to the board of directors who make the final decision of who we partner with, which is made by a majority vote. We do not have a waiting list, which means that all applicants who did not get chosen will receive a letter letting them know that they were denied or accepted. But every person needs to reapply for every new homeownership opportunity. Some of the common reasons that we end up disqualifying folks are because the application didn't end up getting complete. So after multiple attempts to ask for certain information wasn't given to us, then we'll deny an application based on it being incomplete. Applicants make too much money, applicants make too little money, or they have too much debt compared to their income, or too much in collections. So, like I said, Habitat for Humanity is a true partnership. It is not a giveaway program. We do not give away houses. It is a true partnership in that in exchange for working with us to receive an affordable home, our partner homeowners must agree and be willing to partner with us. So we talked about sweat equity. This means essentially coming to our work site on the house and helping build your house. And like I said, we encourage you to invite your friends and family to contribute towards your sweat equity. This is important because we want to help strengthen the network of people who surround you. That network of support is really, really important for financial success and success in your neighborhood. Sweat equity also helps you understand how your household works, how it's built, how the appliances work, how it can be maintained. This can end up saving you money in the long run. But it's just an important piece of being connected to your home because we want you to build a relationship with your home. It is your home. And so for folks that are mobility challenged or have other physical restrictions or mental restrictions that might prevent them from doing physical work, we can arrange for alternative sweat equity or tasks for you. So like I said, our commitment is that we will provide those opportunities. We do design the home based on household size and how many bedrooms you will require. So it is, and we can build it to accommodate for mobility or medically diagnosed mental issues for folks. Additionally, homeowners will have some input on some of the features in their home, such as the paint color and the cabinet designs. In exchange for all this, we subsidize the cost of your mortgage so that your payments are affordable. And this means that they are never more than 30% of your monthly income. So if the house might be worth $215,000, but we will provide a mortgage that is not $215,000. We will subsidize it to bring it down to a level that you can actually afford. So these are 2021 numbers from the Housing and Urban Development for area median income. You can imagine they've gone up just slightly in 2022, but these are, so Habitat for Humanity, we work with partner homeowners between 30% and 80% of the area median income based on their family size. So the median family income for Orange County is $75,800. I think Washington County is like $82,500. So if you look at the top here, there's a section that says family size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you look at this, if your family size has 4 members, you have to at least make $26,500 to qualify, and you can't make more than $62,650. And again, these numbers have probably changed slightly because incomes have changed slightly. But like I said, ability to pay is a big picture item. There's actually nothing really specific that would disqualify anyone. As a non-traditional lender, we want to have the flexibility to look at you as a whole person, as opposed to just making a decision, for example, based on your credit score. When you look at these income numbers, it's important to recognize that it's not just what is on your federal tax return at the end of the year. How much did you make? We want to make sure that the income you're receiving is consistent and stable, meaning that it's a part of a salary, not a tip, for example, or a bonus or something like that, because we don't want to have you expect that you will be able to depend on those sort of intermittent sources of money to be able to pay your mortgage. We look at what is stable and consistent. We also look at your debt to income ratio. So what is it? Basically, qualified applicants have, in our program, have a debt to income ratio that's 30/43. So what that means is that 30% of the income is able to go towards your housing, your rent, your mortgage payments, etc. And the 43 is the percentage of non-housing debt plus housing expenses. And this is non-housing recurring debt. This means that qualified applicants will have monthly recurring debt payments, which are no more than 13% of their income. So look at your housing expenses now, look at your debt, your credit card debt, your car debt. Is that 13% of your income or more? Then that's something we look at. The other piece we look at is charge-offs and collection debt. Basically, we do have a maximum limit, an excessive debt that might disqualify you, especially collections that are not being paid on. If you have $2,000 or more in charge-off or collection debts, that's our maximum that we really allow for. So again, we will look at all these pieces together and look at you as a whole person and not one of these things individually. Here's just want to show, this is the house that we just rehabilitated in Barrie. We're actually on the last couple weeks here. Hopefully, this was actually a rehab project. It's a 100-year-old Victorian Foursquare. I actually wish I had the before picture because it was quite a mess, and we've come really far. So our next opportunity for home ownership is it's a vacant lot that we purchased in Randolph. Folks can go drive by it if they like. It's located at 41 Central Street in Randolph. The property is right on Main Street along a sidewalk, which is a short walk from downtown Randolph. The property is almost directly across from Randolph High School, and the project will be on both water and city water and sewage, which is awesome. And Randolph is also a really great community. In terms of our timeline, we're still currently developing our timeline, but we hope to start accepting applications in early spring of this year, so April or May, which means we will have selected our homeowner by late fall or early winter, so we'll say October, November of 2022. And then, as I said, construction will take 1.5 to 2 years, depending on the availability of supplies, house design, permitting, cash flow. And this means that the house may not be, basically our homeowners would be able to move into the house somewhere in the spring or fall of 2024. Currently, so Habitat for Humanity does build single and multi-unit houses. The property in Randolph can accommodate either a side-by-side townhouse or a single household. We're still in the process of determining how we make that determination of whether it will be a single or a duplex. But we will know by the time we start advertising and accepting applications, and we will let folks know right away how we're going to make that determination. But just so folks know, A side-by-side townhouse, or sometimes referred to as a duplex, is a building that is divided vertically into two separate dwelling units, each of which has a separate entrance, either directly or through a common vestibule. We build them very intentionally so that everything there are very little shared resources. Everything that we possibly can is separated. And this is for the purpose that each homeowner is financially responsible for their half of the building, and there's no need for shared expenses or any forced interactions. We do our best to separate entrances, driveways. We have separate fenced off lawns, separate parking spaces, separate sheds. So that's sort of the definition of a side-by-side townhouse. Beyond Randolph, we are working on a project in Barrie for 2023 and 2024, and also in Montpelier for 24-25. So we have a couple more homeownership opportunities in the pipeline. So if this one doesn't work out for you, keep applying. So I just want to give folks an idea. Here are some of the type of houses that we build. These are all in our Sugar Plum Court complex in Randolph. This is so these are 6 homes that we've built over the last 10 years. As I said, the homes are designed for the needs of the homeowner and adjusted for bedrooms and mobility challenges. All of our homes are simple, decent, and affordable. So no bells and whistles, but they are quality and they're affordable and they're meant to last a lifetime, if not longer. We also build energy efficient homes. High performance Energy Star standard is the standard we use just for our house in Barrie. This is important because it's a way of keeping the cost of operating your house low. So not only are we providing you with an affordable mortgage, but we're also providing you a house that's relatively cheap to maintain. So that's additional money in your pocket. All of our houses are universally accessible unless the site doesn't allow for it. And we don't have a garage, and we do build a shed. So there's some of our houses there. And all right, so I do want to cover this. This is important. It's an important piece of how we operate, and it's an important piece of how we continue to offer affordable housing across the state. So we receive what's called a mortgage subsidy from the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board. And this helps keep the mortgages affordable. So it brings down the cost of the mortgage. And it also contains in it mechanisms which help keep the property affordable forever. Additionally, as I mentioned, we add our own mortgage subsidy, which make up the difference between the value of the home and the VHCB subsidy, plus the promissory note, or what you're paying on the house. But what perpetual affordability means, what it doesn't mean is that you're not stuck with the property forever. You can always sell, although it's not encouraged. We want this to be a lifelong home for you, but you're not stuck in it. There are also no restrictions on transferring the property between family members. Basically, both of these subsidies, our subsidy as well as the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board subsidy, help keep the property affordable forever by creating a purchase option price, which is basically the value of what you're paying, your mortgage, plus 25% of appreciation. So how much has the house grown in value over the time that you've lived there? You keep a portion of that. The remaining portion goes back into a subsidy for the next homeowner. It also includes any money you've invested in what we call capital improvements, adding a pool or something like that. And then if you still owe some money on the mortgage, then obviously you pay us back for that. There are also other resale restrictions, such as the resale must be approved by the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board. It must go to an eligible homeowner, and the payments for that eligible homeowner must be affordable, so at 30% of area median income. Basically, this means that you can't, even though we might put a $60,000 subsidy on this house, the resale restriction prevents you from basically getting it, turning around, and then selling it at full market value, and hopefully folks understand why we don't want that to happen. We want these properties to remain affordable for the next buyer. We also require that the house be your primary residence, and we do require annual attestations of occupancy. It's just a sheet that we send out. Okay, so we're getting near the end here. Last slide, and then we'll get to questions. So here's what we recommend for you as you prepare to apply. Go on our website. We have a sample application, which is going to be very similar to what we will be in our final application. Download that and start to review the information, gather the information that we look for. So you're ready to put that in when the application goes live and sends it to us. Also, again, review the eligibility requirements on our website to see where you might be in comparison to those requirements. Again, if you're not sure, we still recommend and encourage you to apply. Also, you can take a financial wellness or credit building classes with Downstreet Housing and Community Development, even if you're not going through our program. They're really fantastic courses that basically are educational for everybody about good practices for money management and how to make yourself a really good candidate for traditional loans and things like that. They also Downstreet also provides affordable housing, and they can also connect you to other resources to help manage your money and build credit. You can, if folks are not familiar with Downstreet, you can visit their website at www.downstreet.org. Other things that we recommend is pay off your debts. So do your best if you can to reduce collections and payoffs. Like I said, our maximum is $2,000, so preferable if there was none. But so that's one thing that you can work on for your ability to pay an affordable mortgage. Look at your recurring debt, your credit cards, your car payments. How much does that equate to? Is it more than 13% of your income? If so, what can you pay off to reduce that? Obviously, it's what you can do. Not everybody's in a position to eliminate their car loan, right? That's going to be really difficult. And lastly, sign up to receive our email notifications through our website. If you have not done so already, and I think if you've applied for, if you signed up for this meeting, we've already added you to that list, so you will get a notification when the application period goes live. So those are just some recommendations for you. By the way, this is our current homeowner for the house in Barrie. This is Sean and his son, Jamie. He'll be living there also. He's a single father with 2 kids. He has a younger daughter named Holland as well. Very happy father there. All right, so here's my contact information and our website. And like I said, I will follow up with an email that has all this information for you. So hopefully you weren't furiously writing as we went through this. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm also going to stop recording. And as long as I can figure it out.